love Fortnite creative, but man, there are a lot of things in this game mode that we either have or that we don't have that really make me scratch my head. So today I'm suggesting 52 things that are gonna save creative mode. Okay, this isn't in any particular order, but I did want to start with something that we absolutely have to have. We have got to be able to search for props. I should be able to type in here chair and all of the chairs come up. Or I should be able to type in metal wall and all of the metal walls come up. A prop browser already exists on Fortnite Creative HQ, which is awesome, but we need it in game like last year. There's just too many galleries to find what you want these days. The second's really obvious. We need more memory or better optimized props and devices. I'd also love to be able to create my own gallery. To be able to come into a gallery like this and add this door by clicking on a button to add to one of my galleries. Then I get to have a gallery with all of my favorite props or organize it in my own way. We have got to get some water features in creative. By now you have to use these fountains and manipulate them in some insane way to get waterfalls of any substance at all. So we definitely need like a waterfall feature. But on top of that, we need fountains that shoot out of the ground. I want to see like a water volume device that you can resize, you can place in terrain, and then when you jump into it, you have swimmable water. And it would be extra cool if you could actually swim in the water and make underwater maps. And in this volume device, I'd love to be able to control the direction and how fast it goes so we could make rivers. In the character device, we need way more characters and way more poses. We don't have enough normal looking skins like Fortune for all the different types of maps we have out there. And with poses, I would love to be able to pose the character device myself. Turn on like custom pose mode, and then I can take the different joints and move them however I want. Crouch the knees, tilt the head, bend the torso. That would be insane. Okay, let's move to the prop manipulator. I think it would be cool if you could assign the prop manipulator to a team so that a team owns the wall and they can't damage it or they can damage it. The opposing team can or can't damage that as well. But on top of that, and this feature may be too insane, but I would love to be able to attach the prop manipulator to a prop and then animate where it goes. So there'd be a setting in here that says animate, and then point A would be here, point B would be here, point C would be here, and point D would be here. So then the prop would go from here to there, and you could even change the like angle of it so it would place like that, but then it would naturally tilt to those locations the fastest way possible to create an animation of where it's going. That feature is probably too crazy to program, but I would love it. In the VFX spawner, I would love to see some more effects. One that I really want is fire. Now I know we just got the fire device. While that's great to have like fire effects, I still really want really big and robust flames for aesthetic builds. In addition to fire, I want water effects. I want these like cool water lines that reflect off of the ground, that you can put them in rooms that have water in it or simulate an underwater experience. I'd also love more wind options. Like you can kind of see these leaves blowing in the wind, but I want real windy effects. Another huge issue with the VFX spawner is that sound effects can be heard over the entire map. They need to have some sound distance options put on this, similar to how it works on the speaker device. Speaking of the speaker device, we definitely need more sounds in here, but also to have them organized better. We need it broken out into sections. Have like a notification sounds, have scary sound, have transition sounds, and so forth. In the skydive volume device, I would love if in this device we could control the speed at which they can fly around. By now there's only one speed, and sometimes it's too fast and sometimes it's too slow. I'd also love a couple more visual options, like what if this looks like a warp tunnel or even a more violent wind tunnel. Just some more visual options. Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about Discovery. Discovery's kind of been a mess since it came out, and they've made some improvements, but I'm going to talk about just a few things that need to happen for Discovery. One is Discovery needs a strike system. So anyone who abuses the system, whether they're doing clickbait, so they say they're a 1v1, but they're really not, or they're somehow abusing the XP system, or they're copying somebody else's map or whatever, they get a strike, and then after 3 strikes, they get banned or something. Like they get punished by Epic. Another thing I think will help solve some of that problem is when you go into a map, you can like it. No disliking, no bad reviews, just a like, and that way people can see, oh, this map was liked 1,000 times, it must be a good map. Finally, we definitely need like a search bar so we can search through all of the maps in a way we can sort it ourselves. I hate all of the chosen categories by Epic, they're just not good, and I want to be able to sort by my own categories. All right, let's get back to some features. One I'm noticing right now is I would love if they got rid of these cloud shadows. There's no clouds in the sky at all, but there are these shadows that are constantly going over the map and changing the lighting, and I hate that. I would love if we could save default settings in creative mode. I'm often having to come in here and change the time of day or make sure lighting is on, and I wish I could just pick my settings and then save it, and that's how it is for all of my default islands. This next one might be too much, but I'd love to be able to put props together in whatever shape I want. So I've got some random shape here, and then I should be able to select them all and then push a button that saves it as a new object, and then that object recalibrates memory based on how many props there were, and then I can go and place that down wherever I want as a prop. I want to be able to make props like this, which clearly have a lot of assets in it, but it acts as one prop that is worth 3 memory. Basically, I just want to be able to make my own props. In the fuel pump, I'd love to be able to ignite it when receiving from a channel and then respawn it when receiving from another channel. That way you could have pretty much infinite explosions from the fuel pump. And then along those same lines with the explosive device, there needs to be different kinds of explosions in here. I would love the same explosion that you get from the fuel pump where it's huge and like debris going everywhere. I would love different types of fireballs, maybe even like a nuclear mushroom cloud or something. Give me more options for visuals and sound effects as well. On the player checkpoints, we need a teleport to when receiving from a channel option. In the class designer, we really need a damage multiplier. Right now we've got movement multipliers and all sorts of other things, but I want to be able to give my players more damage opportunities. Now I know we have the amplifier power up, but the problem with this item is when you pick it up, you have all of these weird sound effects and this glow and everything that you can't turn off. So the damage amplifier definitely needs to be able to turn off those effects, and a damage multiplier needs to be added to the class designer and just general map settings. In the HUD message device, right here we need an option that transmits on a channel when the message is complete. That way we can sync messages with events and other things in the map. In the random number generator, we need a way to transmit on the channel that the random number generates. So if the random number pulls out 34, it needs to be able to transmit on channel 34. That would make it so much easier to make some really cool maps. In the teleporter, I would also love to see more visual options. Like I should be able to change this into a doorway or like a warp looking zone. I'd love to see more visual options as well as audio. The sequencer desperately needs a prop version of this. Now I'm sure there's a reason why they haven't made this into a prop yet. I'm sure it's very difficult, but that would be a game changer. And then in addition to that, I would love to see the pulse have more visual options. What if I can change that blue pulse or a red pulse into a wall that has spikes on it, or like a rolling ball from Indiana Jones? That would be so epic. Which brings up my next one. I want to see more trap options. Right now we have like spike traps and darts and bumpers and these things. I would love to see like swinging blades or saws that come out of the ground, or giant pistons that can throw you up in the air or smush you against a hard surface. I would love to see like trap wires that you go across and then trees come together and smash. Just more trap options. The air vents have got to change, because when I place it down, it brings out all 3 of these things. This is so dumb and I hate this. Like we need a gallery for this, and not just for the air vent gallery, but for the collectibles gallery. It is so dumb that I have to pull out all of these options in order to get the one coin that I want, and then I have to delete everything that I didn't want. Same thing goes for the chest gallery, the objective device gallery, and anything else in here that's a gallery. Shouldn't have to throw the whole thing out. The customizable light defaults are way too bright. Default needs to be reduced to at least 10%. The barrier device is one of my favorites, and I love the new dream sky option, but we need more options like this. I just want like a blue sky option that is the default on the island. It would actually be insane if you could have the default settings of the island be in the barrier. Like if it was a moving sun, awesome, or if it was set to a certain time that it stays at that time, and when you're in the barrier it looks like that. That would be so epic. But even just like a normal blue cloud sky or a stormy sky, just more options in here. And then even being able to change the like camera filters in here. Like what if you could all of a sudden turn it into an old cartoon just by walking into a barrier? So sweet! Guys, I could go on and on and on this, and I haven't even mentioned a henchman device, a boss device, terrain editors, and everything that we can get in Creative 2.0. But above all of this, the most important thing Creative needs to do to save itself is give everyone publishing rights. People need to be able to publish their maps and let their friends play them. It's that simple.